people across the country have witnessed videos which show the kind of violence that was on display in villages across Bengal. There have been incidents of murder, of course, but incidents of people running away with ballot boxes, people throwing ballot boxes in drains, and all kind of other violences. So my first question is to Shantanu. Shantanu, why are elections, especially rural elections, so violent in Bengal?
Yes, to understand the dynamics of the West Bengal election, we have to understand why people indulge in violence during elections, and especially panchayat polls. We have to understand from the perspective that the people in the rural areas are very dependent on the political parties, or rather the panchayat system, to earn their livelihood. Like, they get a lot of benefits from the social welfare schemes. They get a lot of work through the local panchayats, and this has been established for a very long time. If you see the history of the West Bengal Panchayat election, when Left Front came to power in 1977, it brought in a lot of reforms like land reforms, Operation Barga, and also redistributed lands among the poor class of the people in the society, and especially in the rural areas. This had empowered the people in the rural areas. It had also brought a lot of financial stability to the local panchayats, which in return could give work to the local or the working class of the people. And later, a large number of people, when they were getting the benefits from the local panchayats, they threw their weight behind the political parties who were at the ruling party in their state. This is the reason why you can see that why the previous Left Front government was in power in West Bengal for so long, because it enjoyed a lot of support from the people in the rural areas, because they were elections after elections supporting the ruling party, because in return they were getting the benefits from the several social welfare schemes. The Left Front had also increased the minimum wage for the working class, and it also brought a lot of changes in the grassroots level. When you see that the change of power took place in 2011, when the Mamata Banerjee government came to power in West Bengal, it also followed a similar model. It also brought in a lot of social welfare schemes like Kanya Shri, Rupal Shri, and recently the Lakshmi Bhandar, which are the conditional cash transfer schemes. Like, the people in the rural areas or the grassroots get a lot of financial benefit that are directly transferred to the bank accounts. So the people are very much dependent on that kind of money. Second thing, one way to understand that the rate of the unemployment is so high in the rural areas that the people depend on this panchayat system to get work. Like, there are some issues like the lack of strong primary income among them. So they look for work from the panchayats. That's why capturing the panchayats is so important for them, because if they get hold of the local panchayats, that would ensure that they are getting work through the panchayats. Even the women in the panchayats get work through the Manrega schemes, other schemes. So this is another reason that you have to understand the socio-economic situation of the rural populace to understand that why they indulge in violence during panchayat elections. And not only in panchayat elections, we have also seen the similar kind of violence taking place in assembly polls also, during assembly polls, during Lok Sabha polls, because people in West Bengal tends to align with the ruling party here. But they feel that, if you stay with the ruling party, then these kind of benefits will continue to receive. So this is the kind of reason why such violence are taking place, and which has become a tradition in the state.
So you're saying that it's about lives and livelihood when it comes to Bengal?
Yes. Basically, what we have seen in the grassroots, because when you travel across the West Bengal and visit the districts and talk to and interact with the local populace, you can feel that they have so many complaints against the panchayats, because they are not doing this work, they are not doing that work, because the people associated with the panchayats are indulging in corruption and all. So what people are saying that through panchayats they get their jobs done, because that is what the Left Front had done in 1977 after coming. They established a strong panchayat system in West Bengal. So after that, this same tradition is continuing in the state. So people see the panchayat as a center of empowerment, a center of money, a center which provides them dignity through work, dignity through work, for which they get money in return. So it's like a win-win situation for the people in the rural areas. If they support the ruling party, yes, so they will these things will be ensured by them.
जॉयदा, आप ने बहुत एक्सटेंसिवली कवर किया, विलेजेस में गए, आपने लोगों से बात की. जैसे शांतनु कह रहा है कि लोग इतने इतने इंटेंसली फाइट करते हैं अपने पार्टी के लिए, क्योंकि उनका रोजगार, उनका सब कुछ लाइवलीहुड उस पर डिपेंड करता है. तो आपने क्या देखा कि सब इतने क्यों डिपेंडेंट है, इतना वायलेंस क्यों है लोगों को?
I agree with शांतनु. वेस्ट बंगाल में जो हमने ये तो पंचायत इलेक्शन के बारे में बहुत ग्राम मैंने विजिट किया है. तो जंगल मॉल है, जो नॉर्थ बंगाल है, तो साउथ बंगाल है, उसमें जो हमने देखा है उसका जो लाइवलीहुड, जो जीविका जो बोलते हैं ना, जो जीवन धारण का जो तरीका है, उसमें पंचायत उसका डिपेंडेबल है. मेनली पंचायत का जो पावर जिसका पास है उसका साथ मानी है. और एक बात है इसलिए कि जो पहले जो आर्म्स आता था वो मुंगेर से कि बाहर से, अभी ऐसा हो गया क्या बंगाल में बहुत सारी इलाका से अब क्या है, जो आर्म्स का जो क्या बोलते हैं ना, जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जो कारखाना, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जो प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट, वो भी बन गया है बंगाल में. ठीक है, एक आर्म्स है,
अभी यहाँ पे
ही बन जाता है आर्म्स, एक आर्म्स बन जाता है. दूसरा है बम. पश्चिम बंगाल का हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में इसका यूनिट बन गया है.
तो ये इंडस्ट्री जैसा बन गया, कॉटेज
इंडस्ट्री हो गया है. ठीक है, इसलिए क्या है, एक तो मानी, दूसरा क्या है आर्म्स, दोनों में साथ में है. ये पंचायत इलेक्शन के साथ इसका जो संपर्क है, ये जो रिलेशन है पंचायत के इलेक्शन के साथ, इसलिए ये पंचायत इलेक्शन हर बार पहले जो 2018 लास्ट जो पंचायत इलेक्शन है उसमें भी देखा है, अभी भी देखा है. इस साल भी क्या है, एक बात जरूर है, इम्पोर्टेंट है एक बात, वो है इस बार अनकॉन्टेस्ट जो सीट वो कभी
कम हुआ है,
कुछ कम हुआ है, लेकिन जो टेरर है उससे बढ़ गया है. वो बढ़ गया है
2018 से. जो नंबर ऑफ
वायलेंस और
डेथ रेट सब बढ़ गया है. एंड व्हाट डज इट mean when you look at it like historically, like you know the progress of violence, has it increased over the years since the 1970s?
It is a very common knowledge that that when left front was in power for such a long period of time, there is to be violence in every elections. Like the ruling cadre of the ruling party used to indulge in electoral malpractices, terrorizing the voters. Even in some places, like political clashes used to take place. But after some point, what happened is that the ruling party got so powerful that there was no space for the opposition. Okay, so it was almost like an opposition-less panchayat elections that were taking place. After the TMC government came to power, in 2013 panchayat election, which was the first panchayat election which was held under the TMC government, there was a fight back from the left front, because it was still just 2 years after it got out of the power. So it still had a support base which could actually fight with the TMC's strength. And in 2018 panchayat election, the opposition's space was further narrowed down. There was no space for the opposition, because in most of the panchayats TMC won uncontested, like 34% seats went uncontested, and in most of the Jila Parishad, TMC won by a landslide margin. Like in Jila Parishad, if there are 40 seats, TMC won 38, 37 seats. So there was no space for the opposition parties over there. Of course, there was violence. There was incidents of killings, incidents of political clashes, because on the day of the polling on May 14th in 2018, 12 people were killed in political clashes or violence, whatever you call it. But over the years, what has happened, the opposition had got some strength. Like after the arrival of the BJP into the political scenario of West Bengal, after it got won a lot of seats in 2019 Lok Sabha polls, it won 18 seats in West Bengal. Since then, the opposition is at least in some platform to give a fight to the Trinamool Congress. And we have seen that over the last 2-3 years, the TMC has been struggling to cope up with the several corruption charges. A lot of its leaders have been arrested in the coal smuggling cases or the cattle smuggling cases or the SSC recruitment cases. So the TMC is struggling. It is battling anti-incumbency. It is also seeing an erosion of its support base, which is going towards the CPM and the left front in rural areas. And BJP is also gaining in the state. So this is why there is a fight back from the opposition against the TMC, because what we are seeing, this violence is not one-sided. It's not TMC indulging in violence against the opposition parties. This violence is a two-sided. The opposition is also giving a fight back, because we have to take one thing into account, that most of the majority of the number of people who have been killed are from the TMC. So right now TMC is getting paid by their own coin, and you have to see that the violence is taking place in pockets where the opposition has a stronghold. And right now most of the violent incidents of violence has occurred in the Murshidabad district, which is still a stronghold of the Congress and also the CPM, because it is in the electoral alliance with the Congress in West Bengal, and also from the Bhangar area in South Chowbis Pargana districts, where the ISF, which is a new entrant in West Bengal politics, has a lot of support because of the MLA, ISF MLA. It's the only MLA in the West Bengal Assembly. He won from the Bhangar, and he enjoys a huge support from the people, especially from the minorities. This is the reason why TMC was concerned after it lost the Sagardigi Assembly by-poll earlier this year, that the minority vote bank is slowly slipping away from the TMC. So these are the kind of reasons why the violence hasn't stopped. It has gone up because now the opposition is also fighting back.
So can we anticipate, keeping that in mind, or dread more violence during the upcoming 2024 elections?
Yes, definitely, because if the TMC fails to get a certain number of vote share in Panchayat election or a certain number of seats, although the reports say that most of the places the TMC will get the majority because of the strength and the kind of power it has, but if it gets less number of votes or the vote share, then they will be threatened by this surging opposition. So they will try to, and their workers will try to definitely protect the kind of strongholds. So we can always anticipate, as the opposition is also gaining strength, and the dynamics is different when it comes to the Lok Sabha polls. So the people are not that what we can say, they are not that stupid to think that when what we did in Panchayat election, we will do the same in Lok Sabha, because Lok Sabha, that's a different dynamics, because they have to elect the government at the center, not in the state. So they might, whoever might voted for the CPM Congress might vote for the TN, might vote for the BJP if they want the same government to continue, or if they don't want, they might go for the CPM and Congress. They might not go for the ISF because it is in no way to challenge the government. So the dynamics changes in every election.
आपको क्या लगता है जॉयदा कि 2024 इलेक्शंस के वक्त भी ऐसा ही वायलेंस रहेगा या फिर चेंज होगा, क्या लगता है?
वायलेंस तो इस स्टेट में होगा ही, लेकिन एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बात है ये पंचायत इलेक्शन में और लास्ट जो विधानसभा इलेक्शन है उसके भी था, ये है काउंटिंग पार्ट। इलेक्शन हो गया, वायलेंस कंप्लीट ऐसे नहीं है। क्या है, हम लोग जब जंगल में गए थे, बर्धमान गए थे, उसका जो कैंडिडेट था सीपीएम, कांग्रेस और बीजेपी का, उसका जो डिमांड है, जो काउंटिंग जो पॉइंट है, जो काउंटिंग पॉइंट में जो सिक्योरिटी उसको ज़्यादा रखना चाहिए, सेंट्रल फोर्स रखना चाहिए, क्योंकि वही काउंटिंग पॉइंट में ऐसा होता है, उन लोगों का डिमांड है क्या, जो लास्ट इलेक्शन में कोई कैंडिडेट जीत गया था, उसको डरा के उसको भगा दिया, उसका एजेंट को भगा दिया।
तो आप पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस के बारे में कह रहे हैं, लाइक हाउ इट अफेक्ट्स पीपल?
पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस जो हमने देखा है 2021 के बाद, अभी भी उसका बहुत चांस है। सेंट्रल फोर्स डिप्लॉयड किया गया है, लेकिन स्टेट का जो हालत है, पोस्टल वायलेंस को बहुत भारी पड़ेगा स्टेट को। ऐसा सिचुएशन है कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के जो पुलिस को कोई ट्रस्ट नहीं करता है, कोई ट्रस्ट नहीं करता है गवर्नमेंट पुलिस का, कोई इन लोग का पुलिस को। इन लोग चाहते हैं क्या, जो सेंट्रल फोर्स रहता है अभी तो आफ्टर 10 डेज और आफ्टर 20 डेज स्टेट में सेंट्रल फोर्स का रहना चाहिए, ऐसे डिमांड है। इसका जो पॉलिटिकल जो अपोजिशन है, सभी दल का डिमांड है, जो सेंट्रल फोर्स इलेक्शन का बाद 10 और 15 डेज इस स्टेट में रहना जरूरी है। ये पोस्ट पेनल वायलेंस के रुकने के लिए इसका अलावा और कोई बात नहीं है।
Another thing I want to ask both of you about is the role of strongmen. In our colleagues Ravi Bhattacharya and O3 profiled two strongmen from BJP and Trinamool, and the role that they play right in these rural violence. If you could tell us about that, what role do strongmen play?
Well, it's a very common thing that political party will have this the election machinery. What they say, it's like the people who actually go out in the fields and ensure that the certain number of votes.
Who are these strongmen? Are they like locals or?
You have to understand from the perspective that this is like a party worker can be a strongman, and someone who has no income or livelihood, they get hired by these political parties to indulge in this kind of violences. Because what we are seeing that if 10 party workers are there, maybe there are 10 goons and miscreants are also there. So it works both ways. It's not like one party has more and another party doesn't have. It's always been like that. It's the nature of the politics that you have to have the support of a large number of people and from various walks of life to win an election or whatever. But the question is that why we need miscreants to win elections? Like that is the question that must be asked, because we see political party needs that people must be terrorized so that they don't come out and vote, or their candidate must be terrorized, or some way the election must be vitiated as the election commission says it. So when it comes to assembly polls and Lok Sabha polls, the chances of invading inside the polling booths is less, because those are manned by the central forces, and one cannot indulge in such kind of electoral malpractices inside a polling booth. So what happens most of the times, the violence is conducted outside the polling booths. Like you heard a bomb in some villages and some households, or people from the households do not go out and vote. So you get certain number of votes ensured, or certain number of votes not ensured. But when it comes to panchayat polls, here what happens, the security is not that tight. Because what we've seen recently, that the dilly-dallying between the State Election Commission and the state government and implementing the Calcutta High Court's order, which had ordered that you have to deploy central forces in every polling booth, but that didn't happen as we saw in the ground reality. So this is the opportunity where the miscreants or the ruling party workers or the opposition workers can go inside the polling stations and indulge in such kind of vandalism. What we seen in the video footage is that one person is running away with the ballot papers. You can't see such kind of scenes in assembly polls or elections, one running away with the AVMs in such huge numbers. So this is where you need miscreants and goons to indulge in this kind of violences. Like you can't expect your party worker or the candidates to go out and hurl bombs and intimidate the voters or kill another person. So it's not that 1 + 1 2. It's like yeah.
So I would like to ask both of you, what do you think is the solution or the road ahead? You were saying that if you were to look at the larger picture, it is about reforms, like economic reforms, so that people are not that dependent on panchayats or the government for beneficiary schemes. So what do you think?
I think you have said it very correctly, that to stop this kind of violence, you have to ensure the financial independence of the people in the rural areas. Like they have a strong livelihood. They are not solely dependent on the panchayats to earn their lovely livelihoods. That's why this kind of violence takes place. Or you have to ensure that a strong law and order situation also. If the law and order is strong, then you can't indulge in in such kind of activities on your whims and fancies. Like you are going and I think that I can create a trouble. You can't do that. If the police is strong, if the police is taking action against you, if the proper steps are being taken, that's what the governor is also saying, that to ensure the law and order must be ensured, that so that people go out and vote freely. So these kind of to instill a sense of fear among those miscreants that we indulge in violence, then there will be repercussions. So this is also another point that has to be ensured. So to stop this violence, because financial independence of the people will not happen in one day. It will take some time because we have to understand the dynamics of the West Bengal politics, because there is no huge industries in West Bengal in the rural areas. If you see the land policies of the present government, no major manufacturing industry came in last 12 years. So if the industries are not set up, if livelihoods are not created, then people will not be financially independent. So they will always depend on local panchayats, or they will depend on the government to give to announce populist measures, to dole giving measures. They will depend on that. Unless you change the kind of things, this will not happen in one day. But at least what you can do, what the government can do, is create a strong message, or send a strong message on the miscreants that we will not tolerate any kind of violence. Law and order will not be compromised. That is the kind of message that has to be sent, so that at least the miscreants get a sense of fear that we will not indulge in such kind of violence.
जोधा, आपको क्या लगता है इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म से सुधार आएगा?
All kind of things in West Bengal is politicized. पहले क्या है, यहाँ पर जो भी होता है पॉलिटिकली होता है. तो पंचायत हो, पब्लिक का कोई काम हो, कोई जो गवर्नमेंट जॉब हो, सभी पॉलिटिकली होता है. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए पहले. और वेस्ट बंगाल में कोई न्यू इंडस्ट्री यहाँ पर नहीं है, कोई इंडस्ट्री मेजर इंडस्ट्री भी नहीं आया है. जो इनकम है तो डिपेंड करता है ये पंचायत, ये पॉलिटिकल पार्टी इसके ऊपर ही उसका जो लाइवलीहुड वो डिपेंड करता है. तो ऐसे क्या है कि और एक बात है, जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन बहुत ही खराब है. यहाँ पर जो पुलिस जो है, जो प्रशासन है, उसको इन जनरल पीपल उसको विश्वास नहीं करता है. क्या है, उसका कोई ट्रस्ट नहीं है.
तो पुलिस
का पास में जाओ, उसमें कोई जो सिचुएशन है ना, जो कोई थाने में जाओ तो उसमें कोई सॉल्व नहीं मिलता है. इसलिए क्या है, जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन उसको ज़्यादा डेवलप करना पड़ेगा. पहले हर चीज़ का पॉलिटिसाइज्ड मत करो, उसको जेन्युइनली देखो. दूसरा है, जो तीसरा है, जो इनकम को जो इंडस्ट्री हो, कोई गवर्नमेंट का कोई प्रकल्प हो, जो प्रोजेक्ट है, इसको चालू करो. ये जो 3 चीज है, एक लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन पहले पॉलिटिसाइज्ड, नंबर 3 इनकम का जो
नहीं जरिया,
यहाँ पर इनकम का कोई इंडस्ट्री हो, कोई गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट हो, सभी बहुत खराब जाएगा में. चीज है स्ट्रक्चर, इसको डेवलपमेंट करना चाहिए. ये डेवलप करने से ये जो सिचुएशन है अभी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का, उसको डेवलप हो जाएगा.
That sums it all up, and I feel very succinctly he put it. So I think that's it from us. Thank you.